Las Vegas. The city where anything could happen, where a $1.99 buffet could make you feel like a high roller, and a lounge act could turn an ordinary night into a story you'd tell forever. But what if I told you that Vegas like this no longer exists? That the magic, the spontaneity, the generosity, the soul of the Strip has quietly vanished? Today, we're diving into the 10 things that made old Las Vegas unforgettable. From showgirls and shrimp cocktails to free parking and surprise celebrity performances, we're uncovering the experiences that money can't buy anymore. And by the time we reach number 1, you'll remember a feeling you thought was gone forever. And as we step back into this lost world, the first memory we'll relive is a symbol of generosity that defined old Vegas. The $1.99 buffet, where every guest, no matter their wallet, could feel like a high roller. The lost spirit of Las Vegas. After my recent exploration into the rising costs of Las Vegas, something remarkable happened. Viewers flooded the comments with outrage, but among the frustration, there was something unexpected: nostalgia. Hundreds of voices recalled moments that made Vegas feel alive, inclusive, and magical. Mike from Ohio reminisced about the $499 prime rib buffet, where lines wound around the casino, and Linda J. 77 shared her memories of watching Tom Jones perform for free in a casino lounge. It was a revelation. The true tragedy of modern Las Vegas isn't the price increase. It's the disappearance of the Vegas that once made everyone, no matter the size of their wallet, feel significant. Today, I'm not here to complain. I'm here to remember, to relive the magic of a city that believed everyone deserved to feel like a high roller, even if only for a night. And as we walk through this countdown of the 10 magical things we'll never see again, the journey begins with a symbol of generosity that shaped the city itself: the $1.99 buffet. Picture walking into a neon-lit casino at midnight. The carpet is loud, slot machines buzz, and a glowing sign promises an all-you-can-eat buffet for $1.99. This wasn't merely a meal, it was a statement. It said, "Welcome. Stay a while." The real excitement begins on the casino floor. Economists might call it a loss leader, but that misses the point. Casinos weren't after profits on the endless shrimp, prime rib, or mashed potatoes. They cared about psychology. They fed guests, made them happy, and while the plates emptied, the slot machines and blackjack tables filled. But beyond the numbers, it was a philosophy, a belief that ordinary people deserved extraordinary experiences. A couple from Kansas with a few $100s could live like royalty for a weekend, enjoying food, games, and memories without compromise. It was egalitarian, democratized Vegas. Fast forward to today. Buffets charge $60, $70, even $100 per person. The once universal invitation now a luxury privilege. The disappearance of the $1.99 buffet isn't just about price. It's about what Vegas chose to prioritize. The city shifted from inclusivity to exclusivity, favoring influencers, high rollers, and tech bros over families and ordinary travelers. What mattered wasn't steak and potatoes. It was the feeling of welcome, of belonging. That small gesture, free, simple, and abundant, symbolized a philosophy of generosity. It's why nostalgia still grips people who remember those late-night plates of crab legs and cheesecake piled high. But before we leave the buffet, it's essential to note the ripple effects. Once you remove the low-cost inclusivity, you send a message. Vegas no longer values the everyday visitor. That change echoes far beyond cuisine. It shapes culture, perception, and the heart of the city itself. Just as the buffet gave way to exclusivity, so too did one of Vegas's most essential conveniences vanish: free parking. Picture this. After driving across the Nevada desert, the neon lights of the Strip glimmer in the distance. You reach a casino, hand over your keys to the valet, or park yourself in a cavernous garage and pay nothing. Zero. Free parking was once sacred, a gesture that set the tone before a single bet was placed. It was psychology in motion. By removing friction at the door, guests felt at ease, ready to embrace the city's spectacle. Convenience was hospitality. But something shifted. Around 2016, resorts began charging $10, $20, even $30 just to park. That warm welcome became a transaction. Tourists already paying inflated show tickets, resort fees, and overpriced drinks were hit with an extra toll just to enter the world they had come to experience. The magic faltered before it even began. Locals visited less. Visitors complained. Where once a simple parking lot reinforced Vegas's generosity, it now represented corporate extraction. Free parking wasn't revenue, it was investment. The irony, what once made Vegas feel glamorous, arriving at a billion-dollar resort without cost, was now a small but unmistakable toll, subtly shifting the city's character. And if free parking defined a first impression of hospitality, nothing symbolized Vegas's identity more than the showgirl. Towering headdresses, sequined costumes, and rhinestones created a living icon of glamour. During the mid-20th century, when you imagined Las Vegas, it wasn't neon towers or LED displays you pictured. It was feathers and spectacle. The showgirl wasn't just a performer, she embodied excess as art, living proof that Vegas operated outside ordinary rules. Shows like Foy Beer at the Tropicana or Jubilee at the Bal became temples of entertainment, blending orchestras, choreography, and grand theatrics to overwhelm and enchant visitors. The showgirl's significance was deeper than the stage. She symbolized possibility, daring, and audacious spectacle. Vegas was a place where the extraordinary could touch the everyday. But economic pressures and changing tastes sealed her fate. Corporate ownership demanded higher profits, and elaborate productions were too costly. The rise of DJs, nightclubs, and acrobatics shifted audiences' attention. By 2016, Jubilee, the last true showgirl spectacle, closed its doors, ending a 35-year legacy. Today, the few remaining showgirls are mere echoes, posing for photos instead of embodying the city's spirit. With them vanished an irreplaceable cultural export. Paris has the Eiffel Tower, New York has Broadway, Vegas had the showgirl. Without her, the Strip felt slightly less distinct, less alive. Welcome to a bygone era. As the showgirl disappeared, another magic vanished alongside her. The era of lounge acts. Picture a smoky casino lounge in 1972. You've just enjoyed a $1.99 buffet, wander in without a ticket, perhaps order a modest drink, and suddenly find yourself mere feet from Tom Jones or Elvis. Lounges offered world-class entertainment for free. This wasn't just generosity, it was strategic psychology. Casinos knew that happy patrons gambled longer, lingered, and returned. The experience created loyalty, not just profit. The atmosphere was enchanting. Red velvet booths, waitresses balancing cocktail trays, a small stage illuminated with raw energy. You never knew who might appear, Wayne Newton one night, Frank Sinatra another. The economics made sense. A modest investment in the lounge translated into extended time on the casino floor. Accessibility, spontaneity, and immersion combined, creating a sense that Vegas was entertainment for everyone, not just the wealthy. But as corporations took over, lounge acts disappeared. Floor space became money. Free performance space was expendable. By the 2000s, VIP nightclubs replaced lounges, and scheduled, ticketed shows eradicated spontaneity. With that shift, Vegas lost an intangible magic, the sense that anyone could encounter the extraordinary at any moment. The story deepens with the transformation from personal touch to corporate efficiency. Nostalgic visitors often recall the mob era, when figures like Bugsy Siegel or Frank Rosenthal oversaw the Strip. While mafia involvement was criminal, there was a human element. Guests were seen as individuals. Bets were rewarded with comps, free drinks, and meals. Loyalty was personal, In contrast, modern Vegas reduces patrons to data points, value determined algorithmically. Want a bottle of water? That's $8. Parking? Another $25. Resort fees? Additional charges? The city increasingly measures guest worth not by charm or presence, but by potential profit extraction. Among these lost treasures was the legendary 99-cent shrimp cocktail. For decades, tourists could indulge in a chilled glass of shrimp with lemon and horseradish for under $1. This was more than a snack. It was a promise that everyone could feel luxurious, even modest travelers. Shrimp, once reserved for special occasions, became accessible to all. The cocktail was a cultural equalizer, a shared experience connecting high rollers and ordinary visitors alike. Economic shifts and inflation ended the tradition. By the 2000s, prices climbed, novelty vanished, and the ritual died. The disappearance symbolized a wider trend: inclusivity replaced by exclusivity. Similarly, everyday comps once made all visitors feel like VIPs. A casual spin at a nickel slot machine might earn a free drink, a buffet voucher, or a discounted room. Comps were signals of value, of recognition, of care. You didn't have to be rich, famous, or connected. Presence and engagement sufficed. But modern loyalty programs, measured in algorithms and theoretical loss calculations, have turned warmth into numbers. Free meals, casual drinks, or small gestures of attention are now largely reserved for the wealthy or algorithmically valuable. The egalitarian ethos that defined Las Vegas has thinned, leaving a city polished and profitable, but emotionally distant. Even themed casinos, once the pillars of imagination, are now under siege by homogenization. Caesar's palace transported guests to ancient Rome, Circus Circus to a circus tent, Excalibur to medieval jousting grounds. Each property offered immersive escapism. Families, honeymooners, gamblers, all could wander into a world entirely distinct from reality. But as corporate management prioritized revenue and uniform luxury, theming gave way to high-rise towers, malls, and nightclubs. Today, any modern resort could exist anywhere in the world, Miami, Dubai, Singapore, and still feel the same. That loss of individuality erased a sense of wonder, removing the serendipity that once defined the Vegas experience. And perhaps nothing symbolized the city's charm more than the feeling that anything could happen. Vegas wasn't just gambling, food, or shows. It was potential, a pulsing sense that fortune, fame, or sheer luck might touch anyone. You could sit at a blackjack table and find a celebrity beside you. Lounge acts could surprise. Jackpots could spark impromptu celebrations. Spontaneity defined old Vegas. Corporate smoothness has eliminated that electricity. Today, experiences are scheduled, controlled, and monetized. Spectacles, while grand, are predictable. The unexpected is no longer part of the formula. All these pieces, the buffet, the parking, the showgirl, the lounges, the shrimp cocktail, the comps, the themed casinos, and the sense that anything might happen, reflect one underlying philosophy: hospitality first. In Old Vegas, generosity was business strategy, magic, and community all at once. The guest came first, their satisfaction paramount. Today, the philosophy is reversed. Revenue extraction trumps personal touch. Guests are data points, experiences are transactions, and the city's soul is harder to find. In essence, the Old Vegas magic was never about a buffet price or a showgirl's costume. It was about making every person feel significant. The $1.99 buffet wasn't just food. The lounge acts weren't just entertainment. The shrimp cocktail, comps, and themed properties weren't just attractions. They were symbols of a city that believed in inclusion, spontaneity, and personal attention. Modern Las Vegas may shine brighter, charge higher, and dazzle technologically, but it has lost the beating heart of hospitality. And that is the tragedy and the story that brings us here, remembering the city we'll never see again. From mob generosity to corporate greed. As Old Vegas faded, One of its most defining contrasts became clear: the shift from personal, human-centered generosity to cold, algorithm-driven corporatization. In the Mafia era, figures like Bugsy Siegel, Meyer Lansky, and Frank Rosenthal oversaw the Strip with ruthless efficiency. But they understood the value of human touch. Guests were not numbers on a spreadsheet. They were individuals whose happiness was paramount. If you gambled big, you got comped lavishly. If you gambled modestly, you still earned recognition. Free rooms, cocktails, prime rib dinners. These were not favors, but a philosophy. Treat guests well, and they'll return, bringing friends and stories that amplified Vegas's reputation. Contrast that with modern Las Vegas. Every service, every perk is monetized. Want a bottle of water? $8. Parking? $25. Resort fees, early check-ins, VIP upgrades. The guest experience is dissected into revenue streams. Loyalty is measured by a computer calculating your average daily theoretical loss. The warmth of a pit boss greeting you by name is gone, replaced with a digital message or a scanned loyalty card. The mob-era intimacy that gave Vegas its soul has been replaced by efficiency metrics and profit models. And while corporate oversight removed crime, danger, and chaos, it also scrubbed away spontaneity, charm, and humanity. Perhaps no symbol better captures this era than the 99-cent shrimp cocktail. Once, for decades, tourists could line up at places like the Golden Gate Casino and enjoy a chilled glass brimming with shrimp and cocktail sauce for under $1. It was more than food. It was promise. Ordinary people could feel luxurious, indulge in extravagance without spending a fortune. The ritual connected visitors from all walks of life, from broke college students to millionaires. But economic pressures and the drive toward luxury dining ended the tradition. By the 2000s, prices crept upward. $1.99, $2.99, eventually $7.99. The shared experience, the democratic delight, vanished. Shrimp cocktails were no longer a bridge between classes. They became an upscale appetizer for a select few. Similarly, comps for the everyday guest vanished. In Old Vegas, a nickel slot player could receive a free drink, a meal, or a discounted room simply by engaging with the casino. Recognition didn't require wealth or fame. The philosophy was simple: make every guest feel valued, and loyalty will follow. Today, comps exist mostly for those deemed profitable enough by algorithmic calculations. Free meals, casual drinks, and warm recognition have been replaced with data-driven allocation. The egalitarian spirit that made Vegas feel magical has thinned, replaced by a transactional, impersonal model. And then there were the unique themed casinos. Each property wasn't merely a hotel, it was an immersive world. Step into Caesar's Palace in the 1970s, and you entered ancient Rome. Marble columns, toga-clad servers, fountains that sparkled under ambient lighting. Cross the street to Circus, and you were under a circus tent with performers overhead. Treasure Island transported you to pirate-infested waters. Vegas wasn't selling hotel rooms, it was selling escapism. Families, honeymooners, and gamblers alike could wander through fantasies that spanned centuries and continents. But as corporations prioritized uniformity, theming faded. Marble lobbies, luxury malls, and nightclubs replaced imaginative design. Today, Resorts World, the Cosmopolitan, and Aria could exist anywhere: Miami, Dubai, Singapore, without losing their identity, because their identity has become indistinguishable. That loss of imagination erased wonder, unpredictability, and the excitement that made each visit feel like an adventure. At the heart of these transformations was a simple idea. Old Vegas thrived because guests felt anything could happen. That sense of possibility defined the city. You might sit at a blackjack table and find a superstar beside you. You could stumble into a lounge and witness an impromptu performance. A jackpot could trigger a round of drinks for the bar. Spontaneity pulsed through the Strip, a tangible electric force that transformed ordinary evenings into unforgettable stories. Corporate modernization smoothed the rough edges that made Vegas unpredictable. Today, the Strip runs like a machine. Tickets, wristbands, reservations, and security checkpoints dictate experiences. Spectacles, the Sphere, billion-dollar light shows, massive arenas, dazzle with precision, yet they feel scripted, predictable. The thrill of the unexpected, the chance to encounter magic in an ordinary moment, has been replaced with orchestrated revenue streams. The soul of spontaneity is gone. Anything could happen, the philosophy of hospitality first. Underlying all these lost traditions was one fundamental principle: hospitality first. In old Vegas, generosity wasn't a marketing tactic, it was a business model. Casinos understood that treating guests with care, attention, and respect translated to loyalty, storytelling, and long-term success. A $1.99 buffet wasn't about food, it was an invitation. Lounge acts weren't just entertainment, they created connections. The shrimp cocktail, comps, and themed properties weren't gimmicks. They were symbols of a philosophy that valued inclusion, excitement, and surprise. Hospitality First Vegas offered more than perks. It offered dignity, excitement, and belonging. Every guest, regardless of wealth or status, could feel like a star. Pit bosses remembered names. Waitresses preempted drink orders. Ordinary visitors could feel extraordinary. That philosophy was the glue of the city, the energy that transformed neon lights and slot machines into a living, breathing experience. Modern Las Vegas has retained the towers, the shows, and the spectacle, but the soul has shifted. The philosophy of generosity has been replaced by monetization. Guests are not individuals to be charmed. They are data points to be analyzed and leveraged for maximum revenue. Free meals are now rare, loyalty programs calculate worth in algorithms, and the human touch that made the city unique is largely absent. Hospitality First, once the beating heart of the Strip, has become a relic, remembered fondly by those who experienced it and missed desperately by those who didn't. The loss extends beyond economics or convenience. It affects the city's culture, identity, and collective memory. The $1.99 buffet, free parking, showgirls, lounge acts, 99-cent shrimp cocktails, comps for ordinary visitors, themed casinos, and the electrifying sense that anything could happen. All were components of a single philosophy. The guest always comes first. Without that ethos, Las Vegas may have grown taller, brighter, and more profitable, but it has lost the spirit that made it magical. Vegas can still dazzle with modern innovations: the billion-dollar LED Sphere, luxury towers, exclusive residencies, but none of it recaptures the joy of inclusivity, spontaneity, and generosity. Those little touches, once so common, allowed every visitor to feel important. Ordinary people could laugh, gamble, dine, and celebrate like royalty. The city's magic was democratic, accessible, and surprising. In the end, the story of Las Vegas isn't just about entertainment, food, or architecture. It's about philosophy, heart, and experience. Hospitality. First, Vegas was a city that believed in people, in making strangers feel like stars, and in creating memories that would last a lifetime. Today, the buildings may shine brighter, the shows may be louder, and the prices higher, but the soul of the city, the essence of generosity and human connection, remains a memory. For those who lived it, that era of Las Vegas is unforgettable. The $1.99 buffet, the free parking, the showgirls, the lounge acts, the shrimp cocktail, the everyday comps, the immersive themed casinos, and the electric unpredictability. They were more than experiences. They were a philosophy, a blueprint for a city that valued people over profit, magic over monetization. And even though we can never return to that era, the memories endure. They remind us of the power of hospitality, the joy of shared experiences, and the thrill of the unexpected. Las Vegas will continue to grow, reinvent itself, and attract new generations. but it can never fully recreate the city where ordinary visitors felt extraordinary, where spontaneity and generosity defined the streets, where a $1.99 buffet could make a school teacher feel like a high roller, and where anyone could stumble into something unforgettable at any moment. That Vegas lives on only in stories, in memories, and in the hearts of those who experienced it. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson from the city we'll never see again. Magic is in how we treat people, in the generosity that transcends dollars, and in the small moments that turn ordinary nights into legendary stories. Old Vegas reminds us that experiences, not price tags, define a city. That spirit, once nurtured, will stay with you forever. So, as we reflect on what we've lost, think of your own memories of the city. Maybe it's a shrimp cocktail for 99 cents, a spontaneous lounge performance, a showgirl's glittering headdress, or the warm welcome of free parking. Whatever it is, remember that this is more than nostalgia. It's a blueprint for how magic is built. Generosity first, hospitality always, and the guest above all. That is the soul of Las Vegas. And though skyscrapers rise taller, shows grow bigger, and costs climb higher, the philosophy of hospitality first will forever be the city's most treasured and most missed legacy. If you're as fascinated by the magic of Old Vegas as I am, make sure to hit that like button and share this video with someone who loves nostalgia as much as you do.